All right. It usually happens faster than I know, so we should be live now. So we're here with Jay Schweitzer, myself, and Turbo Nuts, obviously. But Jay, for anybody that doesn't know, is the man behind On the Pipe, and actually a lot more videos prior to that, right?
Yeah, did MotoXXX 3 through 6, Mad Mike's Mayhem,
Nice.
a video with Jordan called Eargasm.
Yep.
That was a punk rock music video. I did another music video with Troy Adamitis in Europe that was kind of like the Warped Tour, but it was like 13 different countries in Europe in like 13 days, and that was called the Deconstruction Tour. And then I did a movie called Crush. It was the first Trans World Motocross movie.
Oh, okay.
And then I did another movie with Twitch called 420% All Natural.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did a movie for Metal Militia called Black Friday.
Seen that too.
That's an impressive
Damn, you did
list.
a lot of movies.
Done a lot of movies, man. A lot of motocross movies and a lot of home movies that none of you guys will ever see.
Oh. AKA the Jackhammer.
That's right, the Jackhammer. I think Jimmy Fitzpatrick might have nicknamed me that, but I think he heard me say it once somewhere on tour somewhere.
Nice.
No, that's not the story. That's for another episode.
How did you get into doing videos in the first place?
I was going to college in Lake Tahoe, 1993 through 1997 at Sierra Nevada College in Incline Village, Nevada. For those of you who've never heard of that little town, it's in a place called Lake Tahoe. And I was really big into snowboarding, so upon graduating high school, I moved up to Lake Tahoe and was really into the snowboard scene. And I grew up watching the Mac Dog snowboard videos, and I was just really into that whole movement when it was just exploding, the late 90s late 80s and early 90s. So it was those movies that actually inspired me to move up to Lake Tahoe, as well as my mom, who introduced me to that place and got me into skiing as a kid. Midway through college, one day I walked into my counselor's office and I see this little piece of paper on the bulletin board there, and it said Mac Dog Productions, intern needed. And I'm like, no way. I was like, wow, this is crazy. The guy's movies that I grew up watching, and Mac Dog was and probably still is, the most legendary snowboard filmmaker, I think, of all time. Now there's new guys doing it. Red Bull's got their fourth phase and Art of Flight, but before any of those super huge big budget movies, Mac Dog was the man. He discovered all the up and coming top snowboarders, from Shaun White. He was the first person to film with Shaun White, and Peter Line and Terry J. Hawkinson, and all these guys that were my idols. And at this time, dirt bikes weren't even on the radar for me. They're cool, but I grew up skateboarding and snowboarding. So I went and applied to do the internship, but it wasn't even for filming. It was to do sales and to sell his snowboard movie and other snowboard movies to snowboard shops all over the country. So I went and applied, and they liked me, and so me. And that's kind of where it all started. And then I became, pretty good friends with Mac Dog. And then when I simultaneously, while I was snowboarding, I kind of, I was competing in college, but then I ended up getting hurt and blew my knee out, then blew my shoulder out, and just all these problems just kind of started happening. So while that kind of basically put a halt to my snowboard career, or at least what I thought was going to be one, I then got into filming, and so I started checking out cameras for my college. And even though I was going to school for business, it's a 4-year private school, so I was going to school to get my bachelor's in business administration. I started taking filming classes, and then I started working with MacDog, and he started teaching me how to do some editing while I was doing sales. And then I did another internship for a different guy at E-Media Studios, and just really got into the whole filming thing. So granted, this is about 95, 96 when this was all happening for me. So by the time I had graduated in 97, I earned enough credits to get a minor in electronic arts. So, I ended up graduating from that school with a bachelor's in business administration with a minor in electronic arts.
So that would you film, right?
I'm sorry?
Electronic arts is filming?
Yeah, electronic arts is, it's what we now call digital media, I suppose. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started. And then I decided, I was like trying to figure out, is this really what I want to do? 1997 now. Is this really what I want to do? So, the beginning of 96, 97, that winter there, I graduated, but I decided, I'm going to go to Europe and take a backpack, a snowboard, and a camera, and some clothes. And I bought a Eurail pass, and I went and traveled for 2 months to see if this is what I wanted to do, film. Sure. And so I traveled all over the French and Swiss Alps, and went to the first European Board Aid, saw Run DMC play live, and filmed that, and Tony Hawk skating, and it was a really incredible time. Went to Amsterdam, did some crazy things over there, and then and then when I came back to Tahoe, and I was gonna go start working for MacDog, and had a really bad snowboard accident. Right off this 35-foot cliff into a tree. Probably should have died. Last second, shifting my board sideways, snapped the board in half, shattered my leg, and they had to do, pretty immediate surgery, put a metal rod in my leg, and then at that point I decided to move back down south where I grew up, which was in LA in the San Fernando Valley. And so I moved into my mom's house to kind of let her take care of me for a little bit. And I had this kind of crazy idea at that time that I wanted to make these punk rock music videos and film all these live bands that I was really into, and intercut each band with a different sport. I through my brother, I became friends with this guy Jamie Ibon, and Jamie Ibon and his brother Robert Ibon were responsible for making all of the motocross graphic kits. Not all, but all of the cool ones and the important ones during the mid to late 90s. They also designed semis. They did all of InStyle's graphics. They designed the MotoXXX character. Okay. They designed all the original MotoXXX stuff. And so I was friends with Jamie, and I started telling Jamie about my idea for making this punk rock music video with these different sports. And he's like, "Oh, man, you got to meet my buddy Kurt." And I'm like, "Who's Kurt?" He's like, "Oh, Kurt Haller. He makes these videos called the MotoXXX videos." I had never even seen him, right? And he's like,
"You had this brilliant idea."
Videos. Yeah, I hadn't even seen him. And maybe I'd seen, like, in shops, I had maybe seen it hanging up, but I'd never watched any, I'd maybe seen a Krusty or something like that, I think, but didn't really know too much about the scene. So then he's like, "You got to meet my friend Kurt," and he's, partners with these punk rock drummers, this guy Jordan from Strung Out and Eric from NoFX, and you got to meet Kurt. He will probably be all into this idea. So Kurt used to actually make snowboard movies before he ever made the MotoXXX videos. But he never achieved the success that MacDog did. MacDog was like the kingpin, and then Kurt with his snowboard movies was down here. Although Kurt was a great cinematographer, he just never achieved that success. So when he found out that I had worked for MacDog, he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take this meeting with this guy." And so then I met with him, pitched him on the idea of making this punk rock music video. And he said, "Well, hey, we got to involve partner Jordan on this because Jordan knows everybody. I was like, all right. So met with Jordan and Kurt, pitched him on the idea, and we decided we were going to do it, and we were going to shoot it all in 16 millimeter film. And so that's how it started. I started working with those guys making this video called Eargasm, which was pre my MotoXXX days. We started working on that right as Kurt finished up MotoXXX 2. At that point, we started working on the music videos. Next thing you know, we're filming every single sick punk rock band you can imagine. And then, like I said, this is now summer of '97. We're filming NoFX, Bad Religion, Pennywise, Suicidal Tendencies. You name it, we filmed them all. I mean, from AFI to Rise Against to Social Distortion to Offspring, Sex Pistols, anybody cool, we filmed them. So I was like, man, this is a dream. This is like totally what I want to do. And so then midway through, while we were making Eargasm, before we even finished, Kurt said, hey, you know what? He's like, I think you're a really good worker, and you seem to be picking up this filming thing quick. Kurt was teaching me how to shoot on 16 millimeter film. And he's like, help me move my business, MotoXXX, back up to Santa Barbara. And he's like, you'll help me run the race team and, help me do sales, and you'll help me we're going to start on MotoXXX 3. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I don't know much about the whole moto scene. I was like, I'm going to move back to Tahoe, now with my legs healed, and go snowboarding and go work for MacDog. Because MacDog had offered me kind of an entry-level filming position and for next winter, and which was like a dream for me to be able to work with him. Right. And then, I don't know, Kurt somehow convinced me to do it, move up there instead, and start working with him. And he's like, we're going to start the first ever freestyle team. I'm like, I'm all freestyle. He's like, yeah, we're going to do this freestyle. And he's like, watch, I'm telling you, it's going to be an X Games, and freestyle is going to blow up. I'm like, all right. And so he's like, you got to come out with me. He's like, I'm going for MotoXXX 3. I'm going to go shoot with this guy, Mike Sinkmars. And I was like, who's this Sinkmars guy? So I was like, all right. So we go out there, and Brian Manley had built this 360-degree dome.
I was just gonna
sickest
say,
thing I'd ever
yeah. That is probably really still one of the coolest courses.
Still, yeah. There's still never been anything built quite like this, still to this day. And so, I went out there, and all these guys were out there, including Pastrana, Enzo, all these guys. But Sink was going bigger than everybody. And so I was like, damn, this guy's gnarly, And Kurt's like, that's the guy we're going to start the freestyle team with. I was like, all right. So that when I saw Sink jump, that was pretty much the deciding factor that I was like, all right, I think there's something here with this sport. Maybe I'll pass up on the snowboard thing and I'll try this dirt bike thing out with Kurt. And anyways, that's kind of how it all started for me.
So you having to get in like, that's still super early in the whole freestyle in general,
Yeah, that was before X Games. It was before basically Deegan had just left the MotoXXX race team, and Metzger had just left the race team. Freestyle was still a new sport, the tricks were, compared to what they're doing now, obviously, it was just such a premature sport at that point.
Yeah. Man, that was a good time in the sport, though. I think and I'm probably biased because growing up with the movies that we grew up with, I like almost any filmer that started as something else stuff better. Like BMX filmers going into moto and snowboard, because they have their own feel. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like people later on that got into just moto only have a different, feel to their stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, obviously, I was inspired through the snowboard filmmakers. And if you look at Krusty and MotoXXX, both of those films, the head filmers, John Freeman and Kurt Howard, both were snowboard filmmakers.
Yeah.
They both came from the snowboard world.
Yeah.
And then you look at myself and Mac Dog, who did the On the Pipe series, came from the snowboard world. So there's a lot of influence from the snowboard industry, whether people acknowledge it these days or not, that came from snowboarding, as far as, where we're at now with motocross.
That's why actually the guy that did my videos is a BMX kid, and that's why I got him to do them.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead, Nick.
Weren't SMP and LBZ kind of based off of snowboard stuff, like the baggy pants type deal?
Yeah, well, LBZ, Mike Russell's whole scene, he was originally partnered up kind of with Dana Nicholson, right? And Dana Nicholson was a pro snowboarder. So, yeah, again, I think the only company that was kind of an OG that, as far as making videos, that wasn't necessarily snowboard influenced, was probably the Terra Firma videos, Fox.
Yeah.
And that was Troy.
So, no. Troy did not come into the Terra Firmas. In fact, I don't even think Troy ever made a Terra Firma. Troy made Wrathchild, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I don't think Troy ever made a Terra Firma. No. Now, Terra Firma 4 or 5 was made by Mike Hatchett. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Now, Mike Hatchett made the Totally Bored films. Okay? Mike Hatchett and Mike McIntyre, a.k.a. Mac Dog, were partners on TV 2, 3, and 4. So, again, another tie-in there.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, yep. I got all the history. I can tell you the whole history of all that stuff, right? So,
like, after you just did your first little bit there, I was like, I should have been taking notes, because you went through the whole early history of freestyle, like way before it even started turning into a sport.
Yeah. He was around when it was racers just hucking themselves off shit, doing no-footers.
Well, I was around when everyone was actually friends and cool with each other before it became this, like, big dick contest, So,
yeah. You know what the
before it was
thing
all
is?
about social media and following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
damn it.
Us being out here, we're like so removed from that, though, that to us, the fact that people in California don't want to invite other people over to ride with them it blows our mind. Because we're so spread out that we're just like stoked to have somebody that's going to come and ride with us,
Yeah, I mean, I've been out there. I filmed out there with Brody Wilson and stuff.
Yeah, I was with you at Youngstown.
Oh, that was. I think Paul Smith was there, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Paul Smith, rest in peace. What a great guy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Youngstown. The thing that's ironic about Youngstown is that's actually where my mom was born. So.
That's right. That's where you were out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I was out there to visit my grandma. So Youngstown, that's right. That's where you were out there. Paul was out there shooting some freestyle, and Tim Boca, I believe.
Tim Boca, yep. He's the one that builds the course. And then I'm pretty sure Gary Robertson was with us too.
That's right. Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
So is that all you do? Is just do the movies, or do you do anything in between movies?
Actually, the movies are not really where I make my money. I primarily shoot different commercials. I've been very lucky over the last, 15 years to be on probably some of the biggest action sports internet sensation videos that have ever come to fruition. I don't have a list in front of me, or anything like that, but some of the ones that I did were that I shot on were Gymkhana 2, Gymkhana 3, and BJ Baldwin's Recoil 1, and recently I did all the tracking car stuff for Recoil 4. I've been on pretty much every Robbie Madison internet video aircraft to been one of the main camera angles at every one of his big jumps, from the Arc de Triomphe to the jump in Greece over the canal. I've documented his biggest flips.
Holy shit, dude.
I mean, pretty much, I can't even remember all the stuff I've done with Robbie, but it's been him and Levi jumping over doing the simultaneous jump. I mean, you name it, I've pretty much shot it with him. So, and then, yeah, I mean, the on the pipe thing was, like I said, I was doing it, but I was really making my money shooting car commercials, tire commercials, just working with state-of-the-art technology, and that's been the main revenue source for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because I know that.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, Clint. This is why three-way conversation.
Go ahead,
is so hard.
Yeah, three ways only work if there's like two girls and a guy, but we'll make it work right now.
3 dudes, 1 internet.
Oh no, I don't know.
You're already part of it, man.
Well, that's why you got Jay here. You don't have jackhammer here, so.
That's good. That's good.
So you keep doing the moto stuff because that's what you like doing, or I mean, obviously you're making your money doing the other stuff, right?
From I make money doing the other stuff, but from the moment that I saw Sinkmar's jump, that's what got me hooked, and watching. I filmed a lot of his big jumps that Sinkmar's did, and I became infatuated at that point with daredevil motorcycle jumpers. I don't know. There's just something about it, just all the death-defying stuff they do and the risks they take, and I mean, being a snowboarder and then knowing the stuff that I did and watching some of the other crazy stuff, after seeing what Sinkmars and these other guys are doing, I kind of thought snowboarders were pussies, But am I allowed to cuss on here or no cuss?
Yeah. We're drinking beers, whatever. Say whatever you want.
Okay, all right. So I became infatuated with daredevils at that point. The cool thing is that after I did so I left MotoXXX in 2002 after I did MotoXXX 6, and we just kind of went a different. Jordan and I were kind of on the same page, where we thought that we should really put everything into the freestyle team, and Kurt wanted to just put everything into the race team, and he's like, racing's the backbone of the industry. And I said, yeah, it might be the backbone of the industry, but you're never going to be able to compete with factory Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawi, Honda. I was like, those are billion-dollar, companies that you'll never be able to compete. You're never going to be able to compete with them. And he's like, oh, but we won this race or won this race. I said, yeah, you might win a race here, but it's just not going to happen, dude. I was like, this new movement, the freestyle movement that you're on the forefront of, Kurt, I was like, put everything into that, and I guarantee you MotoXXX is going to blow up. And it was already blowing up. MotoXXX was, Militia was starting out, but MotoXXX, at that time from, 90 when they started, all the way, 93 or 94, all the way to about 2002, was way bigger than Militia. It's not even comparable. Nobody will deny that.
Yeah.
Militia obviously went on to become huge in this $1 million company. MotoXXX could have been that. We didn't agree on that aspect. And Jordan and I both believe to this day, if all of the On the Pipe movies would have been underneath the MotoXXX umbrella, but with skits, but at this higher cinematography level, progression level, all that, and we would put everything into the freestyle team and that movement, that MotoXXX would have been as big as Militia. I really believe that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that they were both around at the same time, and as far as like exposure wise, like basically it was two different angles, because like you said, they didn't focus on the team and get guys that were winning X Games. I mean, I guess there was some guy like Kerry rode triple X at one point, and he was doing
we
good.
Had all the top. We had all the top freestyle, dude, man, as they were coming up from the first X Games. We had Sinkmars, who got second to Pastrana. And then we had Clowers, I believe, who got third.
Yeah, but I mean, that didn't carry on as long as the militia did. That's the only difference. But you guys had the video end of it. We're killing them on videos. And if it had just, like you said, stayed around longer and continued to do good at contests, then it would have been at least the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, and look, we did have guys that were medaling. You know, we had Drake McElroy, and we had Jeremy Carter, and we had guys that were doing good at the X Games that were on the forefront of progression and stuff. But, you know, we were getting them bikes and parts and all that, piggybacking off the race team. Should have been the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, but and that's where we had the difference in opinion. So, you know, at the end of my MotoXXX career, Mad Mike and I had become really good friends, and you know, just I don't know how, because he's such a nut, right? In his peak, you know, I think I aged a decade just making that movie, and that's where I got my first DUI. Well, I've only had one, but it was with Mad Mike.
My first.
And it was crazy, man. It was crazy, dude. The chicks and just the partying and all of that was going down, man. That's when freestyle was real, you know, and there's no bullshit. There's no like, oh, he said this or he said that and fuck him. Like, none of that shit. You just fucking, you either beat that guy up, you know, or you wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
You know? So that's when it was like actually real. It was no just like hiding behind like my sponsor or this or that. I was like, no, you're either you're gonna talk shit, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
So it would, you know, and that's kind of what Mad Mike stood for, which is pretty cool. He did talk a lot of shit, but he backed it up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and while I was making that movie, I was the first one to film with Ronnie Renner. That was I want to say it was like 01, 02 or whatever, and so I remember when Renner came out, we went to Kano. I'm like, man, this guy's really good. This guy's gonna be something. Sure enough, you know. So, and then so after that, then I went on to do in 2003. I went on to make the Transworld Motocross video Crush, and that movie really should have been on the Pipe One. Like, it was kind of had my style and everything, but they brought in this lame editor, and he didn't really agree with the way I wanted to edit the movie, and he wanted to use some of his music and some of his hippie ass gay shit, and I was like, whatever, I'm getting a paycheck, so I just kind of wrote half of it off. So if I had it my way, I would have done that movie exactly how I wanted to as far as the editing, and it should have been on the Pipe One. After that movie came out, and people were pretty stoked on it, Doug Parsons and I had the idea to create the first, I don't want to say it was the first natural terrain competition, because really the first natural terrain competition for dirt bikes was the Moto Survival Tour, which I was also on. I was a part of that, being the filmer for MotoXXX team. So that was really the first, and that was in 01, I believe.
Was that on Blue Torch or something like that?
Yeah, it's the Blue Torch Moto Survival Tour.
I actually have it up on the FMX East YouTube page. Yeah, that was fun, man. That was a good time, and we MotoXXX, we ended up winning. We had a solid team. We had Dan Pastor, Mad Mike, Carter,
Jeremy Carter, you know, and me and Carter became really good buddies. You know, another guy, rest in peace, amazing dude, awesome human, and so yeah, that was awesome. But and so then I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, I want to do a natural terrain contest. Doug wants to do a natural terrain contest. And my last year there at MotoXXX, this kid started coming into the office. This kid, his nickname's Jackpot. They call him Jack Krause. And so he lived in Santa Barbara where we were at. And he's like, man, you got to come check out my parents' ranch. He's like, we got these sick rolling hills. And he's like, it's just sick up there. He's like, man, I want to build some jumps up there. So I went and filmed, this one jump that he had shoveled up there for Crush. And so then I hit him up and I started worked on this concept for Ride to the Hills with Doug. I was like, hey, what do you think about doing a contest on your property? I was like, I'll rent the equipment. And I was like, we'll just start pushing up giant jumps, So, I mean, I'd say the first really big type of like tractor built natural terrain type of giant, like 150 to 200 foot type of jump was actually at Castillo Ranch, right?
That big tabletop.
In MotoXXX. Yeah, the one that Dave Castillo ate shit on. But besides that one jump, nobody was really, and that's close to Danimals and Jackpots, by the way. Nobody was really making these jumps. So I was like, you know what? I was like, this is going to be a way to push the sport to another level that nobody else is doing. So I basically rented the tractors, got operators out there to make the jumps, got the right riders out there, got Pastor out there, and Dustin Miller and Mike Mason, and this is all at the beginning of their, not the very beginning, but almost the very beginning of their freestyle career. We started building up these peaky ass jumps, and so I remember someone saying, "No one's going to hit that jump." I said, "Yeah." "Yeah, Pastor will hit it." He's like, "Well, okay, Pastor might hit it, but no one's going to trick it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, once Pastor hits it, And so I kind of just started putting the puzzle together, and I was like, "This is how we're going to progress the sport. Instead of just watching guys do tricks off these 75-foot jumps, we're going to make these jumps, and we're going to make them big and with steep and safe landings, to where guys are doing their X Games tricks, off 150 to 200-foot jumps." So I'm pretty proud that I was on the forefront of creating that movement. And so that contest happened, which was Ride to the Hills. I actually invited Kurt out to be one of the filmers for MotoXXX, so he filmed for me. And then I had also invited Mac Dog down. I said, "Hey, I'd love to hire you to be a camera operator at my natural terrain contest." So this is 2004 now. We're talking like February 2004. And so he came down, and he had the same look in his eyes as when I saw Mike Sinkmar's jump. He's like, "These guys are crazy. Oh my God." He's like, "This is way crazier than snowboarding. This is ridiculous. Are you doing a movie this year?" And I said, "Well, not really. I pitched this Ride to the Hills contest to Transworld. And there's this dude over there, Mark Fiore at the time, who was the advertising guy. He wasn't the editor, but he's like the advertising. He's kind of managing the magazine. He told me my natural terrain contest was a waste of time.
Oh, yeah.
It was a waste of time, and pushing up these big jumps was dumb, and the industry was just going to laugh at that, is what he told me. So I was like, all right. And he's like, "We're not interested in doing another movie with you." And I was like, all right, whatever, So,
what year was
that guy? I'm sorry?
What year was this?
When I pitched it to him, it was the end of Crush. It was 2003. And so then I said, "Fine, I'll do it on my own. Like I've done everything else, So I at that point said, "Oh, all right, fuck that kook." And
he apparently liked the gay shit in Crush.
Yeah, I think we ruined him in the credits actually in that movie, but yeah, we so then we basically put that contest on. Mac Dog was like so stoked on the event. He's like, "Man, well," he's like, "So do you want to do a movie?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "The King wants to do a movie with me, Mac Dog?" I was like, "Sure, let's do it," And so we're sitting around, and obviously I was a huge stoner at the time. I'm sitting there, just always basically taking a hit off the pipe, and he's like, "That's it." I'm like, "What's it?" He's like, "That's the name of the movie, On the Pipe." I'm like, "Huh." He's like, because it could also be like the pipe on a motorcycle, two-stroke pipe, on the pipe. That's dual meaning. I'm like, on the pipe. I don't know if people are going to think of that. He's like, "It's on the pipe." I'm like, "All right, dude, let's do it." So that's how On the Pipe was born, right there.
Awesome.
Interesting story, And then along the way, we did Red Bull was so stoked on the Ride to the Hills, they ended up buying concept off me. We produced it and directed it for the next 3 years for them. Did TV shows for NBC adventure series or whatever. It was on Channel 4 prime time, and did a couple other things for them with that. They discontinued the series, I believe, in 2006, I believe was the last year. And then after that, there it is. On the pipe, right?
Dude, my buddy swiped my copy of On the Pipe, and he worked at Kmart in like the little technology TV area, and he would just have this on replay all day while he worked at Kmart. Like everybody who came in was watching On the Pipe 1.
Man, shit, I wish Kmart would have picked it up. Maybe they would pick up the box here. Is Kmart even still around anymore? I don't know.
I think there's like a handful of them.
I was gonna take it back, but it's all he had to do during the day, so I couldn't deprive him of it.
Exactly. See, that's Danimals. So that was that big jump right there. The first one was the Pastor disaster jump. One of the gnarliest crashes in dirt bike history, I think.
Is that when he went?
Yeah, dear Lord, I've sinned. I hit a third gear jump, fourth gear pinned.
Exactly. See, and you know how I came up with that one, right? A big doobie. Right?
You were on the pipe.
Exactly. I was on the pipe. Thinking, well, Lord, forgive me for I have sinned. I hit a fourth gear jump, fifth gear pin.
Fifth gear pin, plant.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Good
so
stuff.
Yeah, so that's how it all started. So let's see, let's take it forward now. So now along the way, something pretty cool. See, that's Jackpot Ranch. That's On the Pipe 1 right there. Nate Adams.
Oh shit!
Nate looked like a little kid there.
Don't worry about it. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate's a rad dude. Badass. He actually ended up. I believe, did he win that? Or did Dustin Miller win it?
I think Miller. No.
I forget. I think Miller might have won it. Yeah, there's the Pastor disaster jump right there. So anyways, so now let's flash forward here. So 2002 comes around, and like I said, I had always been infatuated with daredevil motorcycle jumpers, right? I mean, I was shooting all the racing, and I was shooting. Look, the early On the Pipe movies were and I mean this in the nicest way. They were a more progressive version of what the Moto series is today. I was shooting with Carmichael. I was shooting with Villapoto. I was shooting with the top dudes. But I was also building the biggest jumps on the planet. I was shooting the Ultra Nationals. It was probably 40% racing and 60% freestyle. So it was a very progressive version of what you might see of a Moto 8 or Moto 9.
Well, I think they're kind of the anti that type of video now, right? Like they don't even have. Did they have any freestylers in there?
Well, they honestly, their gnarliest dude, and I have all the respect in the world for this guy, is Chris Foster. He's
insane, dude.
He's the dude I think that really has, as far as free riding and freestyle, more so free riding. I wouldn't say he's like the most progressive freestyle rider. He's pretty progressive, but like as far as his free riding, he's one of the top two most progressive free riders on the planet right now, and I feel he's really been a big part of their guys' series. So I respect what those guys are doing, the Moto Series guys, for basically putting him in there. But for things for me got very political around On the Pipe 4 when I filmed Ryan Villapoto ghost ride his bike on the Jason Lawrence.
Oh, what? When you actually put it in a video?
Well, no, even before I put it in the video, when I was at A-Town and word got out that I was the only person that got that shot, Davey Coombs tried to strong arm me, demanded the footage. I said, okay. I said, I'll give it to you. I'm gonna go have a beer at the crossover, guys. He starts blowing my phone up, and then later it got pretty heated between Davey and I. Now we're cool, but at that time it got pretty ugly.
Why do you think that was? Like, why was he so worried about that getting out?
Oh no, he wasn't worried about it getting out. He wanted the clip for his show.
Oh, I see.
Okay? He wanted the clip for the motocross series. That was the biggest thing that had probably happened that entire year.
Okay.
If you look back at that clip, that's probably still one of the best kind of like brawl team fights of the last decade. And I was the only one that got it. So yeah, of course he wanted it. And so there I don't want to badmouth anyone. Like I said, at the time, we had our differences. I ended up giving him the shot, but I used it in the movie too, so it was all good. But things got very strict moving forward as far as shooting the races. Strict, expensive, and if you weren't on Davey's side, if you weren't in his camp, you weren't shooting the outdoors. And as far as Supercross, forget about that. Unless you wanted to pay like $5,000 a race, forget it. That just wasn't even an option with Live Nation, Feld, Clear Channel, whatever it was. They changed my names. So at that point, it's like, you know what? I'm done shooting the racing. Like, yeah, I will shoot some track stuff with guys, but only to tell the story of Josh Grant riding tracks and then going to the dunes or whatever, But it had to kind of lead into a bigger picture for what my film was about. So yeah, I haven't shot as much racing because of that. And to me, you can, the whole shooting in a track, it's so been done and dead. Like, I don't care how great of a filmer you are, shooting ground tracking shots with a handheld gimbal or whatever, slow-mo or a guy scrubbing over this. Dude, been there, done that. To me, it's all the same shit, dude. Fucking, you seen Stewart scrub, you seen Carmichael throw his whips. I mean, are those dudes doing anything gnarlier on the track than what, Stewart and Ricky and Villapoto and Dungy? No, they're not. If anything, it's weaker. So I kind of like am not really a fan of just like going and shooting a bunch of dudes on a track, because it's like whatever. I'd rather my series and the On the Pipe series and what I stand for, which I'm proud of. Our number one thing is progression. I've always wanted to build the gnarliest jumps, document the craziest tricks, and not just document, but build our own shit and help progress the sport to another level. Others have tried. Other filmmakers have tried to do it, and including the Moto series. They've tried. Can't do it. They haven't been able to replicate what we've done. You look at On the Pipe 7. Like, you look at Travis Katie's ranch and what we did out there with, what Wes and Travis Katie did. And you look at what we did at Danimals and Jackpots and, like those guys and nobody else has been able to replicate that on a ranch to what we've done and push the sport on that level. So it whether people agree with it or acknowledge it or not, they can't deny that we did help push the progression of the sport with that stuff. So
absolutely. Just even the things you mentioned, Ride to the Hills, all that stuff for sure. The Moto Survival Tour, like, I wish I had gotten to ride anything like that, especially like Moto Survival Tour and Ride to the Hills. And those two things were some of the coolest things that have ever happened in freestyle. And I feel like in order for this sport to move forward at this point, I think that's what, X Games is trying to do with the 10-pack at Jacko's house or whatever, because
that's been done.
Exactly, but nobody's even attempting it anymore because it's all about jamming this shitty little course inside of a building and getting the most people to sit around it and clap.
Exactly. Well, you look at you take what Jacko did. It's great. I think what Jacko did is great. But like I said, that was done. You look at Ride MX. That was a movie I shot for. It wasn't my movie, but that was Kurt Derek Castillo Kurt, Dave Castillo, and Derek Swinford made a movie called Ride MX. They had the first real 10-pack. And then, if you look, look, it's not even, I don't even highlight it. It is one of the big ones on the Pipe 7, but I don't really highlight it as one of the most progressive. But you look at the jumps we built in Maui; those are 310-foot doubles. I think Jacko's maybe they're 10 or 15 feet bigger, but we fucking did it on Maui.
Dude, did you have locals hitting those jumps down there?
Yeah, this guy Joey, he's like the best FMX guy in all of the Hawaiian Islands. He hit the entire line, and so did my buddy PJ. Also did. So
yeah, I saw a couple guys hitting them. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, no. So yeah. So a lot of stuff that's like people are like, oh, that's so sick. Like, yeah, yes, it's sick, and yes, it's sick to see dudes flipping and stuff, but it's been done. It's been done. Like, so if you're gonna do it, okay, Jacko did great. He made it bigger than what's been done before, so that's great. You got to take it to that next level. But I think it's hard to be an innovator these days, as far as building unique stuff and building big stuff and all that. I feel like.
The problem is now the stuff that they're making to try to progress. I mean, other than the quarter pipes, I think the quarter pipes are cool, but what else is new? The front flip ramp, which is still controversial. But I think that the sport is going to have to go the way of big dirt contests somehow on the internet, sold on the internet or something like that in order for it to keep progressing because like you said, the gnarliness of the sport is that these guys can do this shit on 30-foot jumps or whatever. And that's what's cool about it. And you can't jam that into a building.
I think that I brought Brody Wilson and McNarls out to Danimals for On the Pipe 7. Brody had never seen it. And he's like, the jump that Pastor crashed on, it's like 180 feet. Wes Agee flipped it in Black Friday. He's the first to flip that. That's kind of what Twitch did to the next level. And Brody's like, dude, he's like, you make this lip a little steeper and the landing a little steeper. He's like, I feel like I could do all my flip tricks on this. Cordova flips, fucking, KOD flips. That's actually where the level of the sport is. The problem is that nobody wants to get behind doing an event like that and put the purse up, put the money up. They're just kind of keeping it right here, at, okay, it's going to be X Games, and it's going to be the 75-foot ramp, and, let's have just a double backflip and this trick, or and it is cool. I think that the Nitro Circus guys have progressed the trick movement along with Pages.
And the ramps.
The Pages brothers.
That's probably
the ramps and all that stuff.
That's probably the best progression as far as ramp-wise, to make things gnarlier but safer, or at least equally as dangerous at the same time.
Yeah, and that was 100%. I give all the that was their movement that they pushed forward, and so I totally respect what they did. I went a different route and progressed stuff that was more bigger jumps and what was possible off bigger jumps. And now I feel like you can do maybe not the double flips and stuff like that, but all the other tricks that you're seeing in contests, your regular flip tricks, every one of those can be done off 180 to 200-foot jumps if the jump is built right. And it's safe. Maybe not necessarily a gap, but a hill jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's where they're going with quarter pipe trick stuff. I heard is versus best trick because you see like 3 guys crash off of that and they're okay. You see somebody crash at 75, he's probably gonna be taking a ride in a sweet truck to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, so that's I think you guys kind of got where I was at with what my purpose behind the On the Pipe series was, and it was working with Mike McIntyre was probably, honestly, I'd say that was one of my greatest achievements. That's Mac Dog, and he's one of the best action sports cinematographers in history. And so I learned so much working with him, and which helped push me into the commercial world to start shooting commercials. And he helped make me a more professional cinematographer on the corporate level, as well as for the films. You know, I felt like every step of the way, every time we put out a movie, I felt like we were, you know, kind of one step above everyone else was with our quality and just, you know, just the cinematography and the way that we were shooting stuff. And I feel like that with On the Pipe 7. I don't feel like there is any other movie that's in the motocross world that is out there right now that can compare. I mean, you look at the new On Any Sunday movie, which I actually shot some stuff for Red Bull on, and I'm good friends with Dana Brown, and cinematography level is amazing, but the progression level is just non-existent. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't even have free riding in the movie. You know, they follow their, you know, racers and stuff like that, and a little bit of supercross. It's mostly like road racing and trail riding and stuff like that. So they kind of missed it a little bit on that, because you look at the original On Any Sunday, they had some free riding in there. But you know, I feel like that On the Pipe 7 is a good mix of, honestly, On the Pipe 7 is a cross between the Great Outdoors and the On the Pipe series, you know? So after On the Pipe 6, Mike McIntyre and I decided that we weren't going to make any more movies. And so in 2013, Wes Agee came to me. You know, I had made that Bitch and Part for him in Black Friday, which kind of put him on the map. And Wes Agee came to me. He's like, hey man, he's like, tell me how I can make my name big like Twitch. He's like, I want to become, you know, this big free rider. I said, you got to have your own movie. You got to start putting out your own content. And he's like, all right, let's do it. You know, I was like, if you can get, you know, Red Bull behind it and they can fund it, I'm down. Let's do it. So we decided to do it. Red Bull said they were going to help out. We go on this road trip. And, you know, we're tossing around names, and I'm like, man, you're such a recluse, and you're just like nobody can ever get a hold of you, nobody sees you, you only ride with the group once in a while, you don't ride at the pack, you ride on your own. I was like, all right. I was like, you're the lone wolf. And so I came up with, you know, the Lone Wolf.
That's where it came from?
Yeah, that's where it came from. And so we decided to call it the Lone Wolf Project. And then I'm basically self-funding this project, waiting for Red Bull to get on board. I'm in about $40,000, and Red Bull basically then comes back and says, sorry, we're not going to support the project. I'm like, what? And I'm like, man, okay, this is not good. So I said, well, Wes, what do you want to do? He's like, I'll try to come up with some money and help you out. That didn't I had hoped. I said, you know, we need something. We need to take the sport to another level than what's been done before. Okay, we've built all the huge free ride jumps, made the 200-foot free ride jumps, and you know, we built these jumps at Travis Katie's place, and you're flipping these just ungodly natural terrain jumps. But how can we do something so mainstream that we can get Red Bull involved? We can get a big sponsor involved. And I said, okay. I was like, you know what? I was like, I just kind of analyzed Wes Agee. I said, what is this guy best at as far as riding? Okay, he does big flips. He's also really good on a quarter pipe. I was like, why don't we attempt to try to make something like a mega ramp, but for moto, like a mega moto? And he's like, dude, I love the idea. This is a great concept. I said, yeah, dude. And he's like, I've always wanted to do a 200-foot flip. I'm like, dude, I heard Twitch talk about that so many times. That's what he wanted to do. That's what Potter wanted to do. I'm like, dude, you could be the guy to do this, you know? So simultaneously, I was shooting to help Matto out. I was shooting on his water bike project when it was, but even before it became Pipe Dream, I was shooting on his water bike project. And this guy, Matt McCall, was there working. He was doing all the ski stuff and just developing the ski and everything with Matto. And I started telling him about our concept. I said, hey, you know what? We're looking for a spot to do a world record backflip into a world record quarter pipe high air. You know any places? Like, man, he's like, I just took over Paula Raceway as the director over there, and why don't you come on out and see if you can find a spot out there to do this? And so, you know, he kind of showed us the spot. He's like, so yeah, we could do the flip there, and then he'd land, and he'd horseshoe back, and then right there up against that hill, we could carve that out. You could put the quarter pipe there. I was like, I'm kind of looking to do it more in a straight line. Like, it's got to be a place we can do a straight line with this, you know? And I said, what's that way in the back over there? He's like, had some crazy idea to make this giant water park, a big domed out water park. They took a couple D10 tractors and they carved out this giant bowl with this raised platform in the middle that was kind of going to be like where the moat was, right? And basically that they were going to make this wakeboard park. I'm like, well, are you guys going to do it? Are you going to fill it with water? He said, no. I said, let's go up there and check this place out. So I went over with Wes and looked at it, and I was the one that saw it. And I said, right where that raised platform is, I was like, what if you put, you know, towards the end of this whole long, right down the middle of this thing, what if you put the ramp right there? I was like, and you make the landing, there's kind of, you know, it kind of drops off right there. Make the landing right there. And said, you see how there's the wall right there at the end? I'm all, what if you take an excavator and you carve in there and start clawing out at that wall in there, and then you blend the hillside in? I was like, could that work? And Wes is like, well, it was like that might work. And Matt goes like, yeah, he's like, that could work actually, you know. And so, and I think from, you know, I found half the jumps out there at Danimal. So I think from my training my eye to seeing this kind of stuff, I was like, man, jumping out amphitheater, this is the spot. So we got them on board. I pitched them on the concept to be the title sponsor. Well, actually, just to be the sponsor of, not to be the sponsor. I pitched Paula to basically do all the dirt work to be a sponsor of the film, and Red Bull was going to buy the ramps. Well, Red Bull ended up dragging their feet, didn't make the ramps happen, and so finally I came back to Matt and said, look, Red Bull's dragging their feet on the ramps, and Matt McCall, if you don't know, he is the world's best ramp designer. He's built every one of Matto's ramps for all his distance jumping, the Arctic Triumph. He's also built all of Renner's quarter pipe ramps. He is the man. So, Trick Factory ramps.
Trick Factory. I was trying to think of the name.
Yeah, Trick Factory. Yeah, he's the man, dude. Very humble, awesome dude. And so I said, look, I was like, what if Paula Raceway is there it is. There's the line. What if Paula Raceway is the title sponsor of this movie, the Lone Wolf Project, and you guys build the ramps, do all the dirt work, make the whole line happen? He pitched it to the tribe. I made a little proposal, and sure enough, it was born. The line happened. I documented the whole thing, yeah, basically the goal was to do this 200-foot backflip. We got to get into the train jump thing later because that is ridiculous. So, is there a time limit on this show?
No, we're only at an hour. Okay. We normally at least do an hour and a half.
I've normally peed twice by now.
Right.
So I'm going to definitely go right now because that's all I got.
Okay, we're going to come back to that shot right there. We got to put that away and come back to that. All right. We got to come back to that Kyle Sanders because that story is ridiculous. So, all right. So I'm with you. You guys still with me?
Yeah, man. Are you getting a beer?
No. I actually don't drink much. I'm just kind of looking to see what we got here. I do drink occasionally, but not that much.
I don't drink that much either.
It's like hard alcohol, you know what I mean?
Just Tuesday nights, you know.
Right. Tuesday nights. Well,
I am a moto guy. I mean,
right.
You know, you drink during the week.
All right. So let's come back to this. So we get this thing built, and you know, Red Bull didn't come on board, but we're still hopeful that Red Bull at some point will come on board. So Wes and I keep filming for the Lone Wolf Project. We go to Maui. We build these ridiculous this 6-pack or whatever, with 3 huge dirt doubles in a row. Then we do the first real moto. Wes and I were a team on real moto. Did that, and then in that real moto, Wes goes out to Paula Raceway and does the biggest long distance, legit flat level ground backflip ever in history. We got scored down. I think we got last place in real moto.
Really?
Had the best. We had, I don't want to say we had the best cinematography. It was really good, but we definitely had the gnarliest flip. But we got scored down, and it was real moto. But me and Wes did some great things together. Like Wes and these other guys, McNarls, that we're going to get into. They go out, and they don't even tell you when they're going to do something gnarly. They don't tell you when they're going to pull back. As a cinematographer, you have to be ready. You just have to be on it. When they want to pull back, you either get it or you don't. Well, all those flips on the pipe 7, those are all those natural terrain flips. For the most part, those are one-time flips. They only happen once. And if you don't get it, you're out.
Yeah.
So,
hey, can you flip that big gnarly thing again?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, can you go flip that big gnarly thing again for me?
You don't ever say that to them.
Yeah.
That's what's so crucial about. You got to have somebody who understands, motocross or freestyle filming, because you just have to hit things. And then when you get in the mood or you feel it, you got to do it. And you can't be like, hey, watch this, because that's like saying, hey, I'm going to do one more lap. Like you're just pushing it to crash. You know what I'm saying?
Never say one more. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
so
stop.
It's like when you feel the urge, you just do it, and then you just hope somebody filmed it.
Clint, have you ever said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this once more and crash"? I guarantee you have, right?
Yo, I was 9, and I was snowboarding down the hill in my backyard, and I was like, I'm just going to do one more run, and I broke my tib fib. And that was it. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
No, never did that again. Exactly.
Because I realized what it is. It's like once you go one more, you kind of like relax a little bit. And with this type of shit, you can't do that. You need to be like all in, fully focused. So it's like you better either commit to doing like a handful more or just go back to the truck and smoke a bowl.
Oh,
all mental.
I know we're going to come back to this whole story because it's getting real interesting with the history of the distance flip and quarter and all that. We're going to come back to that. But
yeah, and we had McNarls on here.
What'd you say?
We had McNarls on here like 2-3 weeks ago.
Dude,
yeah.
Cool.
Dude, we had him on.
I wish I would have got to see that, man.
We talked about On the Pipe 7. He was talking about it, and then I got it on Vimeo, and I watched it. I was like, oh, fuck, this is like the guy we had on last week. And then I started Instagram, and I was a little buzzed up. I was like, dude, that was fucking awesome. That was huge.
He's a gnarly human. He lives up to his name.
Yeah, for sure. That's how he got his name. Being gnarly. In this sport, if you earn the nickname McNarls, you're doing something.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We got to get into that. First, we got to go through the quick little timeline here. But
here comes the director out of Jay. Hang on, we got to cut back.
This story needs continuity, Nick.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we left off here. So Wes goes out. He does this 172-foot flip. We're thinking, okay, all right, I did it. I proved myself. Thinking that Red Bull's going to come on board, and still nothing. Still didn't come on board. They brought him on board to, Red Bull originally hired him and promised him a world record backflip. That was the whole reason why I went with him. He could have gone with Monster. Monster offered him $150,000.
Damn.
He took less than a third of that to go with Red Bull because they promised him they were going to build his name up like Robbie Madison with all those live New York jumps. but they never pull the trigger.
Wow, that's painful.
There's an interesting fact for you. So, but I mean, whatever.
That's business.
Wes owns it in the end of the movie, and talks a little bit about it. So, anyways, after they didn't come on board, Wes kind of like there was a period of, this is the part that a lot of people don't know that's not in the movie, is there basically Wes like stopped talking to me and stopped talking to all his sponsors. He went dark for like 6 months. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I was like, dude, we're like it was like it all started like we were supposed to go to the dunes with Josh Grant, and the night before the dunes, Wes is like, you know what? He's like, I'm not even really much of a dune rider. I'm kind of over it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what, dude? I'm like, dude, this is your movie. We're not, it's like, how are you not going to go to the dunes? We got JG. He's like, the king of the dunes. Is like, let's do this, And he's like, you guys go ahead. So I called Josh, told him what was up. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Get over here. We're going anyways. I'm like, all right, well, if Josh wants to go to the dunes, you don't say no. So I was like, all right. So, went out there and filmed and got some ridiculous stuff, like stuff that still has never been done. Like there's one shot in there where Josh was able to find 3 jumps in a row and link them all together, which you've never seen in the dunes before like this. Right. So you've seen 2, but not 3.
That's what's cool is like Josh was kind of like, as I'm younger watching McGrath go to the dunes and he's racing, and then you see Grant, watching a racer go out and do stuff that, sponsors be pissed about or something is it's just fun to watch somebody who can ride go out and do that.
That's what makes it more fun.
I think Josh is in my opinion, and I've seen all the stuff that Emig, McGrath, and all those guys did. I think Josh is the most progressive sand dune rider in history. I know we got a little sidetracked there.
That's cool.
Up there, got some great footage. Wes Agee went dark for like 6 months, and then, like basically, finally, Wes kind of came around, and the Indian tribe, Paula, started giving me heat, like, hey, is Wes gonna do this line? I said, I don't know, man. I haven't even talked to him, And so finally, I talked to Wes, and Wes went through a mental transformation that riders go through, Clint. When you're at the peak of your game, and as you're on your way down, at some point, fear sets in, right?
You're like, I don't know if I want to continue to be this gnarly.
Exactly.
And I've never even been close to as gnarly as that, so.
Right. Well, there hasn't been many humans that have been, he's like, I think basically, for him, the risk wasn't worth the reward. He talks about it in the movie, and he wasn't getting the support from his sponsors, and so, at that time he was sponsored by Red Bull, KTM, Metal Militia, and I think those were his main ones. But nobody was able to put on this big world record backflip. And when I finally made all the pieces come together, none of his sponsors wanted to put money into it to make it worth the risk for him. So he basically said, you know what, I'll do the quarter pipe, Jay. I want to finish the movie or whatever. I'll do the quarter pipe, but I'm not going to do the flip. And I said, that's cool, man. It's like, I've never once been a guy that's like, oh, you have to jump this or you have to flip that. Because once you do that, then all the liability's on you. So I mean, granted, building the jumps and giving them the opportunity, there's a little bit of liability that falls on me. But, I've never pushed anybody to do anything they don't want to do. And so at that point, Wes, I said, Wes, I was like, I'm just going to turn this movie. I was like, you've been gone for 6 months, man. I was like, I've been filming with other people. I'm going to turn this movie into On the Pipe 7. And it's going to be the last On the Pipe that I ever make. And I'd still love you to be a part of it and show your footage in it. But if you don't want to be a part of it, I'll totally respect that. We can go our separate ways. And Wes said, "No, that's cool, man. I'm going to start up a construction business with my dad, or my uncle, excuse me." And he started AG Glass. And he's like, "I'm still going to ride for fun, but I'm not going to push it and do big flips or anything anymore." It's like, okay, cool. So we were both on the same page. He was cool with me, turning the movie into On the Pipe 7. And so then at that point, the tribe still felt like they were owed something. And this guy Howard over there, that was the guy that kind of approved it. He's the vice chairman over there of the Paula tribe. He still wanted to see this line go down because they basically put $70,000 into making that world record line. So, on a couple of these trips out in Montana and other places, I started filming with McNarly, and I gravitate towards dudes that are doing big gnarly shit. So I saw what McNarls was doing. I'm like, wow, dude, he's doing flips about as big as what Wes is doing in the hills. Maybe this guy can do the world record backflip. But he didn't know how to do a quarter pipe. I never even seen him hit a quarter pipe. And if he did know how to do a quarter pipe, he went to the left. So I was like, I called up McNarls, told him what the deal was, said, "Hey, you want to come out? I'll give you the opportunity. I'll pay you to do this line." And I was like, "You don't have to do the quarter pipe if you don't want to." And he came out, and sure enough, he stayed at my house for 3 months. I had also had a lot of great help from some amazing production people from the dudes at Temp Media, who actually do shoot a lot of the stuff for Dirt Shark and all the Dooney stuff, and they do a lot of the high end stuff for them. And I was living with the owner of Temp Media, Eric, and he owned a shot over. It's a $500,000 gyro stabilized mount that goes in the front of the nose of the helicopter. And so between my red cameras and his red cameras and stuff, they helped me film a lot of world record line. And then my other buddy Nathan Gropolis has 2 GSS $500,000 gimbals that go on helicopters. And I was friends with the Ultimate Arm guys who have the big camera cars with cranes, and I was shooting commercials with them and all that stuff. So I basically pulled together all of my commercial resources, people that I work with on commercials, people that hire me, and I said, "Look, Temp Media, Nathan and I Do Aerials, Ultimate Arm, I'll give you guys a free logo in the movie if you bring your equipment out to the world record line, and let's make this like something that Red Bull would do. Let's make this thing like, let's put a lot of production value into this and into the movie and into the record line, and make this thing the art of flight for moto." And I feel we achieved that. And so McNarl stayed at my house. He learned how to do the quarter pipe in a period of about 3 months. And he ended up doing a 212-foot distance backflip into a world record high, 38-foot high quarter pipe air, which Renner apparently disputes that is a record. I looked the record up online, and the Guinness says the record is 35 feet. Matt McCall also made that ramp, and Renner's ramp, and did all the specs and everything for that and everything. And so he told me that it was also 35 feet. So I was going off of what Guinness and what Matt McCall told me. And so that's why. So Renner says I went 42 feet, or I went this. So I don't know. I from the math that I've done, it looks like Renner went somewhere between 35 to 38 feet. But you know what? That's why I put the big emphasis on the film of the 212-foot distance flip, because there isn't a motherfucker out there that's going to be able to fucking talk shit about that or touch that for a very long time, unless it's McNarls. So I got a lot of respect for McNarls, because he's just another dude like Vinny Carbone that's working a normal 9-to-5 job and came out there and put his life on the line to try to do something. And dude, he pulled it off, man. I mean, guy's got so much bike skill and free riding and distance flipping, and it's just crazy to see where the sport is at now. 212-foot distance flip. I remember when I had filmed Ryan Cates jump 253 feet, and now McNarls is talking about he wants to that he did that 212-foot flip in fourth gear. Now he's talking about, I'm sure he said on your show that he wants to get into fifth gear, pull the ramp back, and do a 250-foot flip.
He
maybe
didn't.
bigger. It's
damn
like,
it.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's gnarly, for sure.
Yeah. So that. I mean, that I couldn't have scripted that story of Wes retiring and bringing in McNarls to do that. I couldn't have wrote that. I mean. Yeah, I mean, obviously I did write the script for the film, but that's how it actually went down. And I feel when you think about the fact that, like, I had no big, other than Paula Racely making that line for me, they were my biggest sponsor. They're the title sponsor. They believed in me from the beginning, before anybody else. They were the biggest sponsor to them and Trick Factory, Matt. But besides them, there's no energy drink involved in this film. There's no support.
How did you do it?
Money.
How
I
do you
self-financed it.
I thought the moto industry couldn't survive without energy drinks.
Dude, no, I self-financed that movie. All the, what paid for that, and paid for all the music rights, paid for everything on this whole film, and the editors, and the graphic designers, and the, just all the filming and the interviews. I mean, I had to pay Matt Hoffman, Mike Metzger. I had to pay every one of those dudes. It's $500, and the editing, I had to pay $15,000. I mean, dude, there's 140,000 plus self-financed myself into this movie. And you know how I self-financed it? From all my freelance commercial work.
Wow.
Every time I got a job, it just went right into that. Right into that. Oh, got another check, boom, goes into this. Another check, goes into this, I did at the end, after the movie was pretty much all the way, it was done. The movie was done. At the very tail end of the editing, Skivvy came on board for $5,000. Metal Militia came on board for $5,000. And Brass Knuckles, my new weed pen sponsor, they came on board for $5,000. That's the only paying sponsors on this film. I got $15,000 in sponsorship money, $5,000 each from 3 different sponsors. The rest of it was all sponsored by Jay Schweitzer.
Well, that's why you're so passionate about it, because you fucking put everything into it. Not only made it, but when you put something into it, then you as my dad would say, speak with conviction.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And if nobody else is going to get behind it and do it, if you want something done and you really want to see it, it's like the Ride of the Hills. Nobody was going to get behind it. That dude at Transworld laughed at me. Mark Fiore, kook. Fucking kook, dude. He's not a visionary. He's the kind of guy that's like, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's cool and happening right now, so we have to only do that. He doesn't look ahead. I was on the chess team in junior high. I'm a chess player, dude. I look way far ahead. And that's just not him, so. But
that's how you're able to, like, tell these stories. Like, you were telling a story, and then you're like, all right, let's go back after digressing for 10 minutes. And I'm like, how do you remember what the fuck he was talking about?
Yeah, exactly. For somebody with a weed pen sponsor, he's doing good.
Yeah, but I wanted to be on top of this. Is my first podcast I've ever done for anybody, so I appreciate you guys having me on the show. That's awesome. But I knew before I did this interview that there's no way in hell I could get stoned. It's not doable. So,
it's not what we were counting on, but
you're getting all the good shit because
no, that's for sure.
So, but we have to one story we have to talk about in the movie that I feel is just as important and could be possibly one of the funniest stories of the whole thing is the legendary Simi Valley train jump.
Yes.
Okay. So go back a little bit. Go back.
It's not that easy to edit on YouTube.
I should, I should send you the link to the train jump, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. So right there, you're looking at Kyle Katsandris. So I was pretty much done with the movie, and I saw this this internet sensation video of this dude jumping over the 60 freeway in Beaumont, California. I'm like, who is this guy? Turned out to be this guy, Kyle Katsandris. So, I direct messaged him, and I'm like, oh man, that was sick, dude. I was like, are you gonna do anything else like that? I might be able to squeeze you in this movie, And he's like, no, that thing's kind of a bust out there, dude. And the cops are looking for me now. And I was like, oh, all good. And he's like, but I'll send you the footage, man. He's like, it'd be an honor to be on the Pipe movie. He's like, dude, it'd be an honor to have you in this film, man. You're doing crazy shit. If you go back more to the beginning, there is a shot of, not that far, but keep going. You'll see Colby Raha right there. Yep, the next clip. Okay, so, yep, right here. Boom. Okay, pause that. So, so basically, I was like, send me the footage. He sends me the footage of the Beaumont 63. I'm like, it's not that good. I was like, the filmer's, it's not the best shot. So I don't know if it can make the On the Pipe 7 movie. I have a very high level of quality expectations unless I'm using archival footage, such as the Pages brothers. I show some archival footage and whatnot. But so he calls me up like 2 weeks later, I believe, and he's like, all right, he's like, check it out. What if I go back and do the Simi Valley train jump? And I was like, man, that'd be sick, dude. I was like, I filmed Scummy do that, and On the Pipe 1, it's a pretty gnarly jump, man. Are you sure you want to do that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, let's do it. So I show up there, and sure enough, he's getting ready to go for it. On the first approach, he washes out and eats shit just crossing the road. All right?
I remember that.
Yes, here it is. Yes. Okay. So he eats shit just crossing the road. And then that didn't stop him. That didn't deter him. And so then he goes for it, and when he comes off the lip, he gets bucked because he put this extra little knuckle at the top, and it bucked him. And he ends up going into a full concussion like coma. The ambulance show up. He's bleeding out of his brain, basically. It was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen.
You were there for this?
It kind of brought me back to the Dan Pastor crash. Honestly, I was like, "Fuck, dude, this is not where I want to be. This is not what I wanted for this guy."
I believe that's called an aneurysm. Once your brain bleeds.
I guess a brain aneurysm, correct.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal, right? So,
walk it off.
So now I'm sitting there just thinking like, what the fuck, dude? Cops are here, all this. I had luckily before the cops showed up, I ran down, put my camera equipment away in the car, and then should I send you want me to send you the link real quick or no?
Sure.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll just text it over to Nick.
Let me see if I can send this to you guys real quick here.
I mean, I could pull it up on Vimeo.
Yeah, no, I got a Vimeo link of the whole edit here. Of just the train jump. I'm gonna send to you. All right. So let's see here. There's a private link.
You're getting the hot shit.
Send me an email right now to motojay@gmail.com. I'll send it to you right now. MotoJay@gmail.com.
You're gonna get like at least 4 emails out of this.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I did just get my email out.
Huh? Yeah. Don't worry. There's not that many people watch this, so I wouldn't worry about it.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for your email. Send me an email.
Are you sending one, Nick?
I can send this to you guys. Who's sending me one?
Are you sending one or you want me to send?
Email and I'll send it to you.
All right, hang on. I got like fucking a couple pages open here. What's yours?
He already told you.
Yeah, motojay@gmail.com. MotoJay@gmail.com. So I get out there. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, in the story, yeah. So basically, I put my camera equipment away. I go up there. He's bleeding out of the brain.
Now
his
this
helmet.
is
I'm just like,
this is Colby or Kyle?
no, this is Kyle. We haven't
Okay.
even got to Colby yet.
Okay.
This is exactly. So, I'm just like, dude, I'm kind of freaking out. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even know. I kind of thought the guy might have died. That's how gnarly that crash was.
How long was he out?
Legitimately, he was out the entire time.
Like 5 minutes,
From the
10
time that he
minutes?
Yeah, no, he was out until he was out. Like,
Wow.
out. Then they put him into an induced coma. Like, he was out for probably 2 days.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's why we didn't even know if he was gonna. Never got your email. We didn't even know.
It's not letting me send it.
What's your email?
MotoJ@gmail.com.
JAY.
What's your email, Clint?
2 wheel. I'll send you one right now.
I got no noise.
2 wheels, 2 freedom
So we didn't know-
at Gmail.
We didn't know if he was gonna come around. We didn't know if he was gonna come out of it. So I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure if, like, he was gonna come out of this. So I didn't think anyone was ever gonna see this Kyle Sanders footage. So, he finally comes out of it and he calls me and says, I'd like you to still release that footage. Meanwhile, the cops come into his hospital room, and the cops come into his hospital room, and they're like, "Are you the one that did the 60 Beaumont Freeway?" And they're asking him about this, and Kyle goes, he's like, "Officer, I just came out of a coma, and I just learned my name's Kyle. I don't know." Pretty funny on his part, you know what I mean? Well, hold on a second. Hey, is it okay to take a leak while I'm doing this or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
Podcast.
All right. All right. So anyway, I gotta. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to put you guys on hold. I don't want to do that. So, anyways.
For a second, I thought you were sitting. I was like, no fucking way he's sitting to piss.
Jay Schweitzer sits to pee.
Come on, man.
Well, I was trying to find this fucking link.
You can't hang that hammer in the water, Jay.
What'd you say, sir? I couldn't hear over my pee. What?
I said you can't sit down and hang that hammer in the water,
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
The Hebrew hammer?
The Hebrew hammer. Oh, how do you know about the Hebrew hammer?
Heard things.
You know, who told you about the Hebrew hammer?
All the way in Illinois.
That's a movie.
All right, I got the Hebrew hammer. I got Danger Jew. I got a couple of them, So, anyways.
They know about it all the way in Illinois.
Actually, Danger Jew was a superhero that my brother came up with. Danger Jew is a superhero that protects, like, little old ladies, and he has, like, a matzo ball rocket launcher, and he takes people out with his matzo ball rocket launcher.
My friend in high school used to call himself Chewbacca.
Oh, Chewbacca. All right. Well, I have a friend, Dave, that's half Mexican and half Jewish, and he calls himself a Jucano. Jucano. Anyways, all right. So, here you are, 2 wheels. All right, here we go. Just got your email. All right. So, let's see. B. Train. All right. So now you'll have that whole thing right there. All right, sent. All right. So yeah, the cops come in there. They ask him if he's the one that jumped over the 60 freeway. They weren't that concerned about the train jump, but they were concerned about the 60 freeway. And he just basically denied it. And, it said that someone had hacked into his
Instagram.
Yeah, into his Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
I texted it to you, Nick. Should I email it?
Sure.
I'm not even sure I know your email.
So at that point...
So they were so worried about him breaking the law the first time that they didn't care about the crash that he was in there for?
Well, the thing is that jumping over a highway over moving vehicles you're putting other people at risk. Now, you could be putting people at risk jumping over a train, but Kyle, before he jumped, he asked me, he's like, dude, should I wait for the train or should I just get one out of the way? I said, I don't know, man. I was like, whatever you feel like doing, dude. Again, not pushing people to do stuff. So he decides to just go for it before the train gets there, and he eats shit, and so we don't even get the train in the shot. So because he didn't jump over a moving train, they didn't think it was as much of a liability and as illegal. Apparently, that's what the cops thought. So, anyway, so now I decided at that point that I was going to contact Mike Russell, who was the first person to document Tracy Monterone doing. Tracy Monterone was the first guy to jump over that gap in 1997 in a movie called LBZ Rechromed.
Now that's the guy that also jumped over that walkway at the mall, right, and missed the landing.
Yes.
No way.
Tracy Monterone he's rest in peace, dead now. He was a gnarly jumper, dude. He's kind of like, honestly, dude, he's kind of like a Sink Mars. He jumped big shit, and he had a lot of bike skill. He raced. And so, he's actually the only one that has made it all the way over the entire train jump to the downside. Tracy went bigger than everybody.
Still.
Colby, still. Yes.
On a what? On a 96? Like, what did he jump it on?
It was that chromed out motorcycle.
Yeah, but I mean, what year was that? Probably like a 90-something CR 250 or some shit like that? Two-stroke?
It was. I forget. It says in the movie what it was, but yeah, it was a dinosaur.
Nick says he needs a password. Text it to me.
Oh, it's on there. See right below train.
What am I looking at?
It's in the email. Just type in train.
Oh, and it's. Oh. Well, we're like third string.
Yeah, you sent that to me, and then I just forwarded him the link. I didn't forward him the...
Okay, no problem. So anyways, so a couple months go by, and I decided that I was going to do
1997, we started our second film. It was called Rechromed. It was a sequel to the movie Chrome. While we were filming, we got a phone call about a location that we needed to see. The description was crazy. It was about jumping a train.
So that's 1997 right there.
It was absolutely
Hold on, I froze up. I can't see the video.
Next thing was finding somebody with the balls big enough to hit this thing. We called up a guy named Tracy Monterone.
There he is,
DJ
the legend.
They looked at it, and DJ was sketched out a little bit. Tracy said, "I'm doing this." Right at that time, on a motorcycle. Tracy, as soon as he saw it, he said, "I want to jump that bike." And he knew he could do it, and he did.
Look how big he goes here. Look where he lands.
Shortly after Tracy landed,
boom,
DJ Sweeney would claim the gap next.
All right.
Made it look easy.
Pause it here.
In 2004,
Pause it here.
Colin Morrison solidified his legacy
Yeah.
by showcasing the
I'm working on it.
train jump to the next generation.
There's a jump right by my house. I'm going to go for it, shoveled it for a little bit, and just sent it.
You're fucking up his timeline,
Nice.
Nick.
Sorry, director. I'm on it.
It's fine. So you guys got to see Tracy Monterone, rest in peace, the first guy to do that jump, and so I didn't film that first jump, but this one was Scummy in 2004, which is an On the Pipe 1. I did film this one, so a lot of people used to believe that Scummy was the first one to hit that train jump, but he was not. Tracy Monterone was, and then DJ Sweeney second, and then Colin Morrison third. So that is the actual true historical timeline of this.
Yeah, I didn't know. I always thought it was Colin first. But
Yep, just like everybody else, because up until I started telling Colin, if you don't start giving Tracy Monterone props, I'm going to let everybody know, dude, that you are not the first person to hit that thing, dude. So, and which I did in the story.
I did see that.
Showcasing the acclaimed train jump to the next generation.
There's a jump right by my house. I'm going to go for it, shoveled it for a little bit, and just sent it. I think fifth gear, mid-throttle. I knew what I was doing. I landed perfect, did it 3 times.
In 2017, an unknown freerider's reputation began to swell throughout the community with his underground stunts. Kyle Katsandris broadcast worldwide, for jumping over the 60 freeway in Beaumont, California, wanting to capitalize on his recent notoriety.
You ready to watch this, like you were describing it?
You talking to me?
Yeah, where you fucking no build up to the spin out here.
Right. Oh yeah. Go ahead, put it on.
Kyle arrived to conquer his hero's achievements. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. Kyle slid out on the approach, but that didn't deter him from attempting the legendary gap. Kyle started his bike and began clicking through gears on his 450.
Oh.
Jesus. How
See,
scary is
attack?
that, Nick? How long did he have to think about that?
A day or
That
two?
was
I mean, in
Like
the
I said,
air.
the impact from the crash.
That's what I'm saying. A day or two.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was so much time.
To induce
When you're in the air,
to
it's just
relieve
like.
swelling. When Kyle regained consciousness,
okay. Pause it here. Because I haven't got to the Colby part, and then I'll let you play the rest.
So
Right,
when he spun out, did he just start from the road right there?
Yeah. No, he came down the sidewalk actually.
Okay.
So back in the day, when dudes were on 252 strokes, they
There was
couldn't
no
get enough
fence.
speed to come down the road and turn. So there's a gate right there. They'd have to make sure the gate was open from this water district and come through the gate to get a straight shot at it. Okay? But now, with dudes on 450s, they could come down the road and turn into it. They didn't have to have the gate open.
I think I would open the gate.
Okay. Yeah. Hindsight.
Right. So, okay. So now, he's in the hospital. He's talking about it all. He came out of the coma. And so I went to Mike Russell. I got the stock footage from, the original LBZ Rechrome. And I decided that for On the Pipe 7, I'm going to do this historical piece on the first dudes that have, or basically everybody that's done this train jump. And so I was working on, I had just scheduled the box cover shoot with McNarls out at Jeremy Carter's ranch. And so that's the one that I invited Axel Hodges to, where he sent me a dick pic.
He dick picked you.
Basically rock star. Yeah, that's that shoot. In case people are just jumping in.
In case there's a discrepancy. You got dick picked on Rod and Jeremy Carter's place, which looks sick.
Right.
I'm gonna run into the bathroom now.
Anyway, I'm up there, and I invited Colby Raha. Now, I invited Colby up to the shoot. Now, remember, this is before X Games last year. Nobody except, in the industry, some people knew who Colby was, but a lot of people did not. But I saw Colby, and, I know talent when I see it. And I saw him out in the hills, and he throwing these huge whips. I'm like, who is this dude? And it's funny because when I saw him throw these huge whips to the right, actually, at that point, when Wes didn't want to do the quarter pipe, and I was trying to figure out who could do this quarter pipe, I'm like, you know what? I was like, Colby could probably do this quarter pipe. And this was months before Nitro quarter pipe, months before X Games, any of that stuff. And
So how long ago are you saying this is? This is like a year ago? This is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it.
No. This would be. Let me think about this here. So, no, this would be probably this. I want to say maybe early May. Okay.
Okay.
So like April or May. It was a couple months before X Games and before Nitro set up that quarter pipe and all that. So I was like, yeah, Colby. I was like, this kid could do it, Luckily, McNarls ended up learning how to do it. But I was like, I was like, I invited McNarls out to get the box cover shot off that massive step up. And so I also invited Colby out to hit these huge jumps. And then we ended up getting a helicopter, and it ended up being a pretty cool shoot. While we were up there, I showed Colby a rough cut of On the Pipe 7, and it had my historical train jump section ending with Kyle. And Colby goes, I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit that. I'm like, you are not, dude. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, no, I'm serious, dude. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, dude, well, I'm telling you now, I'm going back to hit. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me know when it happens. And Colby goes back out there and has one dude filming on an iPhone, and he sends it over an actual train. And I see it on the internet, and I'm like, I call him up, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, you know I'm doing this historical section on this whole train jump, and now you just go and do it? He's like, well, let's go back. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go back. I mean, it's only 20 minutes from my parents' house here, so I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we go out there, and this time I was a little bit more, I don't know, I guess I wasn't really paying attention, and I always thought in the back of my head that cops could come and shut this down. And if they did, I would want to be shooting behind like this bush so that they don't see me. Well, that's what I was doing for Kyle. I hid behind this bush. I was still able to get the jump, but I got lazy when it came to Colby's jump. I didn't hide behind a bush out in the open, and sure enough, we're waiting for the train to come. I see the train on its way. I yell to him, like, train, and Colby fires up his bike, and right before the train gets there, like maybe a minute and a half before the train gets there, two cops are coming from different directions, coming at him, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got nervous and like kind of ducked down behind my camera, didn't even shoot it. I'm like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? Well, luckily my drone guy got the shot. My drone guy got the only shot of the cops trying to block him. Colby goes around him and sends it right in front of the cops after they try to block him.
So who got the video of him going past the cop cars?
The story of what he could.
My drone guy. That's a drone shot.
That was from the drone?
Wait, so did he escape the cops by jumping over the freeway? Was he then, or the train? Was he then on the other side and they couldn't get to him?
Mm-hmm. So
that's the coolest story I've ever heard.
Yeah, you think that's cool? Wait till you hear the next part. That's like only half of the cool part. So after he gets to the other side, now the cops can't get to him because you can't drive in across the tracks. So he bolts out. Colby was at least smart, and he parked his truck like a mile away, and he boned out. Okay, so now I've got my two filmers. I have a drone guy and another guy. He's kind of on the takeoff. So there's a total of three of us that were filming this. My other two filmers, they hiked out to the 118 freeway. They're gone. Now I'm in plain sight on
with
the
a
same
big camera
bridge as the takeoff lip, and the cops had. If you watch the video, and you'll see it when we play it in a second, they had kind of tried to circle around him to stop him. So now one of the cops gets out of the car, and he goes, he's like, camera guy on the hill, and I'm just like, didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh fuck, And so then, luckily, the other cop said, he's like, no, let's go after the rider. Both of them bone out. They go after Colby, try to catch him. Colby's long gone. At that point, I knew that I had very minimal amount of time to get away. So I've got a big tripod, a big red camera, a big lens. What do? I collapse it down like the tripod, make it smaller. I pick this heavy thing up, as quick as I could. I jog down the hill, across the street. I take the camera off the tripod. I find this huge bush. I take the camera, the tripod, stash it under this bush, cover it all up with a bunch of leaves and bushes and branches and all this stuff. I cover it all up. I take off my hat, my shirt, my shoes, my glasses. Not my shoes, excuse me. Take off my hat, my glasses, my shirt, and I transform into Jogger J. Okay? Yeah, that's right, dude. I transform into Jogger J.
So this camera that you put leaves all over is like a $60,000 camera? You're like, fuck it, I need to get away from the cops.
Like Probably like 100.
Nice.
Like 100. It was a huge risk, dude, to just stash it there
Yeah.
and leave it there and transform into this guy pretending to be Jogger Jay, a jogger. Like it was just one of those things that like you think of on the fly. You're like, this is it. This is my only chance to escape. So basically, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking jog towards my fucking truck, and hopefully the cops, are gone looking for Colby. So I start jogging, like getting this fucking jog, like, and sure enough, I go up about 200, 300 yards, and then the cops are pulled at this inlet looking for him. There's like one little spot you can go in towards the tracks. Like vehicles can kind of go in towards the tracks, and they're looking for him. Like, oh fuck, I got to go by these guys to get to where, because I had parked a little bit a ways down there just in case something like this happened. So I'm like, fuck. I'm jogging right past the cops. I'm like, do I look at him? Do I not look at him? And have you ever been like stopped at like a traffic light and like, you're just kind of just like waiting, and you're like, you know what? I feel like the car next to me is like looking at me. You know what I mean? That feeling that you get. So
Yeah.
I felt like the cop was looking at me. So I'm like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna fucking look at him, So I look over at him and I'm like, well, what's going on over there? And he's looking right at me. And he's like, mind your own business. We're looking for a suspect. I'm like, all right. I'm jogging right past the cop. Jog right in about another 300 yards. Get to my truck. Hop in my truck. Call my boys at. I'm like, J.O., where are you at? He's like, we're by the 118 freeway. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we hiked out here. I'm like, drop me a pin. I'll pick you up. Drop me a pin. Picked him up. They got in. They came back around, not to right where the jump was. And now I see the cops. The cops are back where I was looking for me, where I was filming the jump. And they're looking for me. Now we're staking out the cops. All right? Waiting for those guys to leave. We waited for probably like 25
camera, right?
Seriously. It's like 25 minutes. They finally leave. All right? And then I told my buddy J.O., I'm like, all right, you're driving. And I was like, told my other buddy Darren, move over. All my camera shit's going right here. I had a coma. I was like, I'm going to put it all right here in the bed. They pull up next to the bush, grab my camera, grab my tripod, throw it in the back, drove off. Everybody gets away. Boom. End of story.
That's awesome.
I did not have a GoPro on the whole time.
If I would have had a GoPro on for Jogger Jay, it's one of the most legendary things I've ever done. Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's see the rest of the video then.
Yeah, put the rest on.
This is pre-Jogger J.
It came in super hot. I was already in third gear. Clicked fourth gear, held it wide open, and the lips seemed pretty good except for the top. I was thinking, wow, you just got hammered a little bit.
Yeah.
You can see it right there.
You can't peek up the last
right in the middle of
5 feet of a jump.
The bar pad on my face.
The neck snap is so gnarly.
Kyle was back on the motorcycle 4 months later. But with all the media attention from his crash, it seemed as if the train jump had seen its last attempt. Until 1 month later, a promising up-and-coming freerider wanted to make his own mark among his idols. As a tribute to the late Tracy Monterone, Colby Raha painted his bike all chrome as he prepared to fulfill the Simi Valley train jump legacy. At 22 years of age, Raha shocked the industry with his massive quarter-pipe airs, natural train flips, technical wall rides, and upside-down whips. Anticipating the arrival of the train, Raha and cinematographers awaited patiently. However, due to the recent attempt by Kyle Katsandris, authorities would seek to stop any future attempts. Within moments of the train's arrival, police attempted to block Raha. With an arrest imminent, Raha was faced with the decision of going to jail or going for glory.
He had to jump it.
I had a clean shot at it, so I just went for it. Hit it.
We could have got arrested.
He had to jump it, or he was going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jail or coma.
And I was on the other side of the tracks, and they couldn't really catch me. I just boned out.
Boned out.
But I like to do a party.
Tracy Monroe was the first guy to hit it. He recently died, and then I'm hitting the jump he first hit, and that was just like paying homage to him.
Daredevils such as these.
Now, if you look at this
risk their
next
lives
shot,
for the
you can
respect
see
of
me
their
on the
peers,
ridge down
with
the right, there's a
uncertainty
little
of
black
ever receiving
dot.
a paycheck.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's me. Yep.
What, down
So-
by that bush
so I
there?
Others
jogged
need to put
down
food
that
on the
hill
table.
right there, stashed into the bush. Yeah. So, anyways, that's a pretty good one, huh?
That was awesome, dude. That with the story, that was a highlight.
Yeah, right. Not a lot of police escapes probably on your TV show, I'm sure, right?
No.
Not too many
Other
popo
than
escapes.
Scranny. He's the only
Scranny.
one. Yeah. yeah. Have you seen him on like Instagram or whatever? He's the one that did like stands on his seat on a dirt bike, and somebody throws a football and he catches it behind his back as he's riding down the road.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Scranny's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think he was drinking when he did that.
Most likely.
I think it was a combo. Like he caught it like one-handed.
Yep. So yeah. Anyways, I think we pretty much covered a lot of the highlights, of the movie, and we didn't really talk much about the Pages brothers a little bit, but those guys are a big highlight too. And I've been good friends with Charles and Tom for a long time before they were the sensations that they have become, and it's great to watch Tom take the sport in another level, in a completely different direction. And he's been, about 4 or 5 years ahead of everyone else, and so it's cool to have that in the film, and it was really great to have Troy and Midas on board with this to help me write the script and to basically do something that no one's done in a motorcycle film, really. Like I said, it's a cross between the Great Outdoors and traditional on the pipe movie, and all the films that I've done over the last 2 decades, I feel like this one I'm probably the most proud of. I really like On the Pipe 1 for what it was, and On the Pipe 4 was cool with Carmichael's retirement and all that. But as far as on a production level, number 7 blows them all away. And as far as on a progressive writing level, 7 blows them all away too. So I feel at this time, when I look back at all the films, I'm actually, it's very hard, like as an artist, to really be satisfied with your work,
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've been pretty darn close to 100% satisfied on any of my projects. So
I can tell you this: I did a like a survey about, which I guess we can just put this out there. A survey, I called it the FMX Instagrammies. Just like we're not even doing awards or anything, but we had best moto movie, and On the Pipe crushed everybody else.
really,
Yeah, there's only like
On the Pipe 1?
No. Well, 7. Sorry. As far as movies this year, versus Moto 9 and Chasing the Storm 2. As far as fan votes, everybody's voting On the Pipe versus, the other ones have gotten a couple here and there, but overall, On the Pipe 7 has just crushed everybody.
Fuck, dude, you gotta send me those stats. Dude, I gotta post that shit. That's awesome.
I mean, it's not like we had thousands of people vote here. Let's not get too excited.
No, but that's we got serious. Like, as far as like true fans go, I'd say our following group is pretty hardcore.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, I'm a pretty hardcore filmmaker. I'm not gonna just go out and do some cookie cutter fucking movie like, I'm gonna go out and just film tracks and film the same old shit. Like, other people can do that. I don't care about doing that, man. That's not why I got into this game. I got into this game, as I said, from the very beginning, the On the Pipe series, all the way from MotoXXX. It's always been about progression for me. And then the second most important thing has been about quality. I stand by that, and so those things are the. And then now to implement a really cool storyline in there with the help of Troy. Like I said, I'm really proud of this, and I've never really been much of a social media poster. You know what I mean? You got all these other guys. I don't know their names. What's Axel's filmer's name that has all the followers and stuff? I forget what his name is. But,
Dirt Shark?
No, not Dirt Shark.
Oh, he's got somebody else that films him? The Ginger Dolphin?
Oh.
Is that his filmer?
Oh, the Ginger Dolphin. Ginger Dolphin. Let's not even get started on the Ginger Dolphin. That guy's hilarious.
It's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
We may have to have him on here.
I've never been much about social media posting and all that, but I have to give a shout out and a thanks to one of my good buddies who's really helped me a lot, and that is MotoPimp. Because MotoPimp is, dude, he you know what I like best about MotoPimp? He just keeps it fucking real, dude. There's no fucking bullshit with MotoPimp. He tells it the way it is, and he's had my back, dude.
Because he's from New Jersey. We don't know how to sugarcoat stuff from New Jersey.
Dude, I just love MotoPimp, dude. He's such a cool fucking dude, man. I can't say enough good things about MotoPimp.
There you go. He's one of our most, our biggest fans as far as, I wouldn't even say that, but he watches the show probably. We have one or a couple other guys that are watch it pretty much every Tuesday, and I would say he's one of them. So the people that are voting on our stuff are guys like that know, that have followed it for, a long time and actually care.
Well, and two of our most, fluid, enjoyable, longest podcasts, MotoPimp and now Jay,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in there in one of your longest? Sick.
Sure.
Yeah, we're getting in there. We're a little over 2 hours, so.
I hope someday to achieve the legendary status of MotoPimp. Someday.
Yeah.
He's the biggest cult following of freestyle.
Dude, MotoPimp is friends with everybody, dude. He's got Matto, Renner, fucking you name it, dude. He's Pastrana, dude. Everybody knows MotoPimp. I mean, some people know Jay Schweitzer, but everybody knows MotoPimp. Okay, so
it's true.
Yeah, it's been an honor to have him involved in helping me with social media posting, and he's kind of been guiding me on the right ways to do things. And he even called me before the show and kind of gave me a couple little inside things of what not to say and what not to do. So it's cool.
We don't have any rules. I don't know what he's talking about. You can do whatever you want.
Well, no, he's looking out for my best interest. So. Right
okay.
If you're listening to this,
he knows.
Yeah, MotoPimp. I mean, dude, come on, dude. MotoPimp. If I was gonna make another series like On the Pipe, I would call it MotoPimp.
Don't tell him that, because he'll be.
Damn.
Next year, MotoPimp 1 is coming out. Just an online-based movie series, video series.
I got one more little story I'll tell you before I leave, which is now that you've kind of brought up to current everything. The On the Pipe 7 was my last On the Pipe movie.
Next year, 2018, MotoPimp.
I'm sorry.
I said 2018 will be MotoPimp.
Well. On the Pipe 7 is my last On the Pipe movie, and it's kind of my last free ride, FMX, whatever you want to call it, type of movie. I'm not going to be doing them anymore. It's just, like I said before, I could go out and do a cookie cutter type of movie, go out and film dudes on a track and all that, but when you've already filmed the gnarliest and pushed the level of the sport so far beyond, that stuff is just... It's just boring, and I want my reputation, kind of like Carmichael. Carmichael went out, he went out on top. Filippo went out, he went out on top. And that's how I want, the On the Pipe series. I want it to go out where people are like, fuck, dude, On the Pipe 7's so gnarly, how can they even outdo that, dude? Well, you know what? Let somebody else go out and try to make a better film than On the Pipe 7, better production quality, gnarlier film. I know action figures, whatever is coming out, too, and I know there's going to be some gnarly stunts and stuff like that.
Their cinematography is not the same thing. It's not the same formula.
It's a completely different type of film. So, I'm trying to make a real film, So that's kind of the difference between their film. I respect all the progression level and the crazy shit that Travis and his friends do. I totally do 100%, but I'm making a completely different film. So, and I don't really feel like there's a film out there that you can't compare Moto 9 to on the Pipe 7. You can't. It's a different film. They're shooting a lot of dudes kind of, doing circles around a track and stuff, and they're like I said, they're shooting some progressive stuff with Chris Foster and some other stuff, and it's cool. And they're shooting on red cameras, but even my production level is probably 5 levels above that. And I don't think anyone would argue that. I've got 6 helicopter shoots, 2,000 hours of tractor work, just drones carrying red cameras. It's just a whole nother level, dude. Camera cars, all that shit. So there's no other movie in the motocross world that can compare on the quality level. The closest comparison would be outside of that, and that would be like a ski or snowboard movie like Art of Flight or Fourth Phase, or something that Teton Gravity Research does, or that would be the closest comparison, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the moto world, it just doesn't really exist. So I'm happy to set the bar there, but I'm doing one last film before I actually retire from making documentaries, and it will be my last motocross film. It's a film I've been working on since 2005, and it is going to be the holy grail of motorcycle films, motorcycle documentaries. This is going to set the standard. This is going to be equivalent to the Dogtown of motocross films, and it's the history of long-distance jumping, the history of the sport that Evel Knievel created. And I've been working on this since 2005. Since I became, or even longer, I guess, if you want to consider how long I've been friends with Capes, which would be about 2002, so about 2003 I started shooting with Capes. But really the concept all came together when one day I was out shooting Ryan Capes going for the world record for On the Pipe 2. He was going to be the first person to jump over 300 feet. And this guy comes up to me, and he's wearing this Evel Knievel leather jacket, and he's wearing these Reebok pumps. Remember the pumps?
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and this guy comes up to me, and I swear, I was like, I had to do this because I thought I was looking into the 80s. I was like, am I looking into this is a time warp? Looking at this dude, and he comes up to me, and he's like, this older dude. Turns out he's the announcer for Capes, and he's also the announcer for all of Robbie Knievel's jumps. And he's like, you're Jay Schweitzer. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm Daredevil Doug. He's like, I've seen all your movies. He's like, let me tell you about my idea for the greatest motorcycle film ever made. I'm like, okay. I'm like, who is this guy, dude? Dressed like fucking some dude from the fucking 80s, And he's like, I've been following long distance jumping from, the history of even before Evel Knievel, and I know every jumper that's held the record from Evel Knievel all the way up to the modern guys, to the new guys, up to Capes and blah, blah, blah. This is now, he hit me up before Maddo had even come into the picture. And he's all, all the new guys. So you're working with all the new guys. He's like, between everyone I know, all the old guys and, all the new guys, we can tell the greatest motorcycle story that's ever been told. I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty fucking cool, man. He's like, you got to come to my house. He's like, I got a museum at my house. In San Jose, you got to come to my house. I'm like, all right. So I go to his house. Sure enough, this dude's got a museum of all these old Daredevils and their leathers and original flyers of Evel and all these other guys. And he's like, he wants to get all baked, and he's like, let's get stoned. He's like, I'm going to show you all these videos of all these guys who have challenged Evel Knievel and who have challenged Robbie Knievel, and all these guys have held the record along the way. It took me 3 days to get through all these videos.
Wow.
And dudes that you guys have probably never even heard of. And,
Mr.
And
Backwards?
99.9% of the industry has never even heard of these guys. And it was, at that point, I was sold. I'm like, this is the coolest fucking story I've ever heard. Now, that's 2005 is when he told me the idea. When I actually went to this guy's house was 2006. So technically, I started working on the project with this guy in 2006. Now, in 2006, Kate starts doing the big jumps. And then in 2007, I get a call from Bird. Right? I get a call from this Native American Indian dude, telling me he's out jumping Maddo and Capes and blah, blah, blah. I go out there. I become friends with Bird. I start filming all his stuff. And then, through the On the Pipe movies and filming all the Red Bull X-Ray stuff, I became good friends with Robbie Madison. So I started filming all of Maddo's jumps. I even invited Maddo to Evel Knievel's funeral. And, I'm the only camera guy that got into Evil's funeral, and I got them lowering the casket into the grave. Like, crazy stuff. And basically, I was at the right place at the right time. That year in 2007, the whole distance jumping just scene blew up. Capes, Maddo, Bird, all three of these guys now pushing the level from where Capes had set it at 310, and Trigger went a little bit further, went 277, and now you got all three of these guys battling for this record, And so over the next couple of years, I'm spending all of the money I'm making from commercials and On the Pipe movies, and I'm putting it back into this long distance jumping project. Renting 35 millimeter motion picture film cameras, big Panavision cameras out there to film Capes and Bird and all this shit. I was like, dude, I'm at the right place at the right time. I'm the only one that's bouncing back between all three of these dudes. And then Capes ends up going like 391 feet and crashing and breaking his navicular and then his back, and he never really came back and went further. Maddo ends up going 392, and in practice for the Red Bull jump with the Levi LaValle thing, in practice goes 392, and his wheel disintegrates, and he's lucky he rode away from that. And then he was supposed to go over 4, but it didn't work out, and the fog rolled in. Levi went 412, and Maddo only went like 378, so he never went over 4. And then Bird goes to go over 4, and he crashes at 420 feet, which I have the exclusive footage on all of that as well. And then, at that point, like, there's this lull in distance jumping. Yeah. And then in 2012, I get a call from this guy named Toes. Toes has the best long distance jump setup in the world, where Capes had done all his jumps. Bird went up there, but Bird had a falling out with Toes just like Capes did. And so then Toes is like, I'm done with all distance jumpers. And then one day, this kid Alex Harville, who's in On the Pipe 7 as a free rider, goes down to the ramp setup. He's riding around on the track. Alex is an amateur racer. He's a pretty good racer. And he fucking sends it on the ramp, goes 250 something feet on his first jump on a 250F. The video gets uploaded to YouTube, and Toes sees it and decides to get behind this kid. And within 5 days of distance jumping, the kid's already over 350 feet. Wow. I sent a filmer out there to see if he was the real deal. He was. And then me and MacDog decide to go up there, because MacDog is my partner on the project, and decided to go up there, rent a helicopter. And the first day, there's 11-mile-an-hour headwinds, and Alex consistently is jumping over 400 feet, 402, 405, and jumps 409 feet, breaks the record, while he looks over at me in the helicopter and sets the record. And then, we're all stoked, and Alex is like, I'm not happy. He's like, and we're like, why aren't you happy? He's like, I can go bigger. And I'm like, dude, you just broke the record, man. I was like, that's it. You just did in 7 days what, all these other guys have been trying to do for years, dude. Yeah. He's like, no. He's like, I want everybody back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. before the wind picks up. He's like, I'm not going to take any speed runs because my bike's getting too hot on speed runs and I'm losing compression, so I'm not going as far. He's like, I'm not going to take any speed runs. I'm going to warm up the bike, but I'm not going to take any speed runs. There's not going to be any wind, and I'm just going to send it, one jump. And sure enough, he gets up to 106 miles an hour, and there's a 3-mile-an-hour headwind, and he jumps 425 feet, shatters the record.
Wow.
So that is the big, that's what's next for me, dude. That is Jay Schweitzer's holy grail of motorcycle movies.
So when is that? When is your estimated release on that?
Troy Adamitis and I start editing on it February 1 this year. Awesome. I'm going to take a month off, do some snowboarding in January, and then February, March, and April, all 3 of those months, Troy is going to be working on the rough cut, and I'm going to be kind of helping him and assisting him when I can. And then after that, we're going to keep going and try to get it ready in time for film festivals like Sundance and stuff like that for 2019.
Okay. Awesome.
This is good news.
Now you've got the entire Jay Schweitzer story. And I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the show. Thank everybody who's helped me along the way, from all the landowners, the riders who believed in me and pushed the sport, all my filmmaker friends that have helped me out with projects throughout the year, the people that gave me my first chance at MotoXXX, Smelly Eric, Jordan Burns, Kurt, obviously MacDog, and who else? I'm sure there's someone else I'm forgetting, but all the fans, of course, that believed in the On the Pipe series, and that's it, man. Without you guys, without the fans, there would be no On the Pipe series.
Well, now what the fuck are we supposed to watch, Jay?
What'd you say?
What the fuck are we supposed to watch now?
It's over. Reruns.
It's yeah, we're just gonna.
Moto 10.
There you go.
I mean, look, dude. If you're gonna make a 10th movie, you better make it fucking gnarly. I would say that to Taylor, because Taylor's actually a friend of mine. Taylor, you got to beat fucking On the Pipe 7. So good luck with that one.
There you
got a year to do it. Took me about 3.5, 4 years to make this one. So.
Hey, when you were looking at all that old footage, did he ever show you any footage of Mr. Backwards?
Oh yeah, Mr. Backwards, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, Mr. Backwards is legendary.
We did a show in DeLand, Florida, and he was there. He had to have been 60 at the time, and he was still jumping like 7 cars, sitting backwards on his Harley.
Mr. Backwards is nobody can ride backwards as long as Mr. Backwards.
That's for sure.
But yeah, no, the East Coast, and Doug Danger. When I was out there filming On the Pipe 6 with Brody, I filmed with Doug Danger at the Danger Zone. Doug Danger held the record longer than any other distance jumper. Seth tried to break it, and it's kind of thinking he was going to break Doug Danger's record. Negative. He did eventually. Seth did eventually go over 300 feet, but he didn't break a record. At that time, Capes had already gone further. But nobody's held the distance record longer than Doug Danger, dude.
Well, there you go. You don't get the name like Danger for no reason. Well, shit, man.
Exactly.
Thank you. You killed it. I think that our actual listeners, the people that listen to this all the time, are going to be super stoked on this one, because we like getting into the history of all this stuff, and that's why we do this, is because we're super fans of freestyle motocross. And Nick and I have both gotten to actually ride for a while and do shows and stuff like that, but ultimately we're just fans of all this stuff and all these guys and everybody that makes this happen. The stuff that we've sat in our houses and watched over and over and over and got pumped to go ride and do stupid shit. We appreciate all that. So you're definitely
it's the riders. It's the riders like you guys. You're the ones that are keeping the sport alive. The riders like Hart, like Metzger, like Twitch, Potter, Maddo, Wes, McNarls, all those guys that pushed the level of the distance flip, and other innovators like Matt Hoffman and Danny Way, and guys that have pushed to make ramps like quarter pipe, big air ramps. It's all those innovators, man. The riders themselves. It's the reason why there is even a sport. There's a reason why there's even exciting shit to film and to showcase. So it's all because of you guys, dude, Clint. So
well, don't put that on me. I didn't do anything really fucking cool, but I agree with you. I'm fans of all those guys. Everybody you mentioned, Hart and Deegan, and all those guys. They made this shit happen and actually gave us an outlet to ride for a little while. But I mean,
dude.
The thing is too, though, if you don't have I realized very early on that nobody was going to come and film me, and I needed to make that happen, and I got like Kyle, the guy I worked with, and ultimately, if we don't have the people to put it into some kind of, format and put it out there to the world, then it's just us jumping in the woods, So I think it's definitely a combination. You need to have the media there, and like you've been doing, pushing just filming itself, that helps it, because more people want to watch it. They don't want to watch it on our grainy ass VHS footage anymore. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude. It's something I love to do, and I'm always, even if I'm not shooting freestyle motocross anymore or free riding anymore, I'm always gonna love filming stuff, and I don't think I'll ever lose my interest in shooting daredevil motorcycle jumping. That's one thing I can say for sure. Even after I'm done with the daredevil project, or if Colby Raha or someone called me up and said, "Hey, dude, come film me do some crazy stunt or something," or I'll be there. You know what I mean? I'll still do it. Might not be making a movie about it, but I'll still do it. It's in my blood, So, yeah. So,
Awesome.
What it's all
Well,
about.
I think that's a good note to end on. Thanks for coming on. Had an awesome time. I'm sure Nick did too.
Did it?
Right on, Nick, dude. Thank you, man. Well, Nick, so I'm